cheating. In Psalms 37 verse 21, the wicked borrows and does not repay. Actually, there are so many, if you have that kind of intention, you know, that is cheating your brother and your sister. So if you have, you borrow money from your sister, from your fellow believer, make sure that you make an arrangement. Kung wala kang pera, make an arrangement, talk at sabihin mo, unti-unti kong babayaran. As long as you have that kind of intention, makakabaon ka sa utang. Pero if you don't have that intention, at hindi ka, wala kang balak magbayad, let me tell you, there is a consequences of cheating money, especially on fellow believers. Not only especially, even to other people. Tayo mga Christian, hindi tayo dapat ma-involve sa mga ganitong lifestyle. Cheating, stealing, exact opposite po ang ito. Ayon ng Panginoon na each and every one of us in here, bawat isa sa atin ma-involve tayo sa mga ganitong lifestyle. So, if you refuse to pay them, that is cheating, that is stealing. So, kung meron kang nautangan, you make an arrangement na hindi kita mababayaran, unti-unti babayaran kita. Pero kung hindi mo yung ginagawa yan and you are like you have intention not to pay, that is cheating. Okay? Keeping property you found, making no effort to find the owner, actually is also cheating. Baka kung minsan mayroon kayong nagpupulot dyan na nahulog niya yung tithes, mamaya is hindi naman ibinulsa na, ibinag na. That is stealing, you know? Stealing, please don't be involved with all this thing na minamention ko. Kasi kung minsan, hindi tayo po aware. Bakit kaya nasa financial difficulties ako? Bakit kaya I'm in financial mess? There is a question that sometimes we are not aware of it. So, kailangan na, kagaya yung mayroon iniwan ni Sister Lori na porcelas, kinuha ko. Hinahanap ko kung kanino yun, pero sa kanya pala. Pero nagamit ko na for 6 months.
Ginamit?
So that's not right. So, anyway, amen. So, keeping properly you found and making no effort to find it, that is also cheating, you know? Ano man naman napupulot po natin dito, please, lapitan ang mga ushers at ibalik po at hanapin kung sino po yung may-ari. And cooperation with thieves, that is stealing and cheating also. Maybe, hindi ka nagnanakaw, hindi ka involved, pero yung kaibigan mo o kasel group mo, meron siyang na-share na, alam mo, nagpulot ako ng ganito sa amo ko. Nagpulot, tapos, ayam, nang kunti-kunti lang yan. Alam mo yun, hindi lang siya ang nagkasala, ikaw na rin, because you are, you know, approving with her, you are cooperating with her. You know, and that's not right. Yung mga small thing na to na, kung minsan hindi natin po alam, actually ito po ay cheating. You know, and don't cooperate with those people who steal. You know, at walang alam ng Diyos na nagnanakaw. Amen? Amen. Using God's blessing selflessly is stealing also. Yung, alam mo, yung we can steal, you know, money that God has given us if we don't tithe. Sa Malakay 3:10, di ba? We are robbing money. We are robbing God if we don't give our tithes and offering. Actually, lahat po, mayroon po tayo, ibinigay po ng Panginoon. Pero kung hindi po daw tayo nagtatides, that is cheating God. Nakakatakot. Hindi ang Panginoon na ang ninanakawan mo. Sabi niya sa Malakay chapter 3, verse 10, ninanakawan daw tayo. Ninanakawan daw natin ang Panginoon. O, nag-cheat tayo. Nagsisinungaling sa Panginoon. Pag hindi natin ibinibigay yung para sa Kanya. Amen? So, yun ang mga different ways of making dishonest money, cheating and stealing from other people. I actually mentioned some, but ang dami pa when we take a look properly sa word ng Panginoon. So, pupunta tayo sa third key issue. In avoiding misuse of money. Ang pangatlo po mga kapatid, anong sabi niya? Don't waste your money. In verse 5, anong sabi niya diyan? You have lived on earth in luxury and self-indulgence. You have fattened yourself in the days of his slaughter. One of the greatest temptation that we have sa atin is that, to use our money and spend on the things that is not important. Pag tanggap na natin ng pera natin, we keep buying and buying and buying things. Alam niyo po, kahit mayroon po tayong pera, it doesn't mean that we can spend all the money that we have. You know, sometimes hindi natin maiwasan, pagtanggap na natin, natanggap na natin ang ating sahod, we tend to buy on things that is not necessary. God say, don't waste your money. There are some people that waste their money on gambling. Alam mo yung mga involved sa sugal? Sa first day, mananalo po yan. Pero sa following day, lahat yon dudubli pa yung mawawala sa kanila. But they are wasting money. Those people who are involved in gambling, people who are involved in drugs, you know, ang mga ito po, dapat daw hindi po natin i-waste yung pera. Hindi lang po gambling, hindi lang po wasting money on drugs. Long calls. Buti pa ngayon, Lebara free. Ha? Pero pag hindi free ang Lebara, mayroong mga tao dyan na 150 ang bill sa telepono. Pero walang ipon. Diba? Pero yung 150 naman, nakikipagchismisan lang. Kinukwento ang buhay ng ibang tao, diba? And you are wasting your money. And sometimes, you have 150, you know, 200 na telephone bill. Ano mangyayari yan? Tapos, iiyak-iyak ka, wala akong ipon, Lord. Oo, ganito. Wala kang ipon kasi nag-waste ka ng pera on calls that is not really necessary. Alam niyo po, marami din akong telephone bill. But, yung mga tawag ko, mga tinatawagan ko, nagpa-follow up ako, nag-prepare ako. Pero yung mga telephone bill ko na 100, God been, you know, multiply it, binabalik niya kasi I've been using it in a proper way. Hindi ko wina-waste ang pera. Even though na mayroon pa akong bill na ganyan, I'm not wasting. I'm using it for the glory of God. But there's a lot of people, they are wasting their money, they don't have saving. It's because they've been using their telephone, long calls, telebabad sa telepono, but actually, hindi po yun nakaka-glorify sa Panginoon kasi kung minsan chismis, kung wala nang pag-usapan, buhay na ng ibang tao ang kapag-usapan. So that is actually wasting money. If you spend money that is not necessary. And the last one is don't abuse your money. Don't waste, don't abuse your money. Abuse. Sa pagbalikan natin sa verse 2 and 3, sinasabi niya diyan na ang warning bawat isa sa atin na wag po natin i-abuse ang pera na meron po na ibinigay ng Panginoon. Actually, sa New Testament, sa Bible po, especially sa New Testament po, yung mga, alam niyo po mga mayayaman na tao, sa New Testament, ang ginagawa po nila is, they buy judges, they buy pardons, they use money to bribe, to cover up an offense. And not only sa New Testament, actually, there's a lot of people, if you look back sa Pilipinas, yung mga mayayaman, mga mararaming pera, ina-abuse nila ang mga pera nila kasi they can kill, they can massacre, they can pay the judge, they can cover the offense. Pwede din ang bayaran yung pardon. Kaya nga hindi sila nakukulong kasi binabayaran nila ang mga judge, binabayaran nila ang pardons. And God doesn't want us to be involved in this area. If we are believer, hindi po tayo mas mataas kaysa batas na ibinigay ng Panginoon sa harapan natin. Kung nakakommit ka ng something that against the law, pananagutan mo yan. But don't bribe, don't buy things to cover offense. Yung mga binabayaran niyo mga pulis para lang wag matuklasan yung katotohanan. Actually yun, don't bribe, don't use money, don't abuse your money. Because in the Bible, sinasabi na po ang Bible, ang salita po ng Panginoon, for those people who make dishonest money, cheating, abusing, stealing, will going to be judged in eternity. So we need to be very, very careful when speaking to this money that God has given us, not to abuse it, not to make it in a dishonest way, but you know what? But to use it in a proper way. So titingnan natin dito sa Bible kung ano yung right way po. What is the right way? There are 3 powerful biblical principles, of right use of money. A wise person put money aside. Here is the first principle of the right use of money. Save faithfully. Titingnan natin sa Proverbs chapter 30 verse 24. Anong sabi niya dyan? Ants are creators of little strength, yet they store up food in summer. This principle actually that the Bible tells us is that we ought to save money faithfully like an ants. Right? So some people, they don't know how, they don't save at all. Maybe there are some of us dito, hindi tayo nagsasave.
Bigay lahat sa Pinas.
Ibibigay lahat sa Pilipinas, ipapadala natin po lahat sa Pilipinas ang pera natin. At hindi po tayo nagsay-save. But in fact, sasabihin ko sa inyo, we all know the importance of saving money.
Amen.
We all know in here, hindi niyo po yun ma-deny. Alam natin ang important siya, ang kahulugan. We all know the importance of saving money. Pero kung minsan, we cannot find a way to separate a portion of our salary per month. But the Bible tells us, wise, lahat po daw tayo, hindi po daw natin pwedeng gastusin lahat ang pera na meron po tayo. God say it is foolish to spend all the money that you have, but rather it is wise to save for your future, because whatever go wrong will go wrong. How can you handle emergencies in your life? If later on you receive a call from Philippines and there's an emergency, you need 1,000 euro, you need 3,000 euro. Emergency is emergency.
Yes.
And how can you handle emergency? Do you want to put your financial burden to the wise people? No. We need to save money faithfully. Amen?
Amen.
Everyone have a reason to save money. It could be an emergency fund. It can be a retirement. It can be a future of your kids. It can be a vacation. And the list can just go on and on because life happens every day. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. So we need to save money. Actually, sa survey po, average po ng American. Sa mga American po, ang average po sa American, pag tingnan natin yung mga American, they live in a very extravagant lifestyle. Pag summer, nasa beach po sila, at saka mayayaman po sila. Pero ang average po, itong American, they save 4% of their income monthly. So mean to say, itong mga Americans, pag 1,000 po ang sahod nila, 40. Kung 1,000, 4% is 40 lang po. $40 ang save po nila monthly. The rest, they were going to spend it. European, based on the survey, 16% po ang sinesave nila sa monthly income. So, 160, itong average average European. Itong Japanese daw is 25% monthly po ang savings po nila per month. How about us Filipinos? How about us? Meron ba tayong ipon? Ni 1% wala na. Pero hindi naman rini-require ng Panginoon na mag-save ka ng half of it. Actually sa akin, hindi ako nagsasave ng half of my salary. I only save 10% of it. And I will spend all the 80% of it. I can eat. Alam mo naman na save ako ng save, hindi ko naman ako kumakain o mapupuntahan yung mga gusto kong puntahan o kaya makain yung mga So, okay. So God say, wise person save his money. So, wise person daw, are we wise?
Amen.
Kung hindi natin kaya yung 4%, at least 1%. Magkano yung 1% in 80? Hindi pwede. At least 2%, 20, or 50%.
10 na eh.
So, okay. Okay, so sabi ng Panginoon, ang mga wise daw, nagsasave po ng pera. Tingnan nyo yung mga itong in-mention ko. Yung mga American, actually, hindi po talaga sila nagsasave ng half of their income. Pero 4% lang po. So, sa atin po, ito po, in order for us to develop that habit of saving, we've got to learn two things. Para po daw ma-develop po yung habit na makapag-ipon po tayo, mayroon po tayong kailangan na gagawin. We've got to learn two things. We've got to learn to live on margin. So mean to say, you've got to spend less than what you are earning.
Amen.
If you are earning 850 and your expenses per month month is 1,000 or 1,200, baong ka na sa utang. No wonder you are not having a financial breakthrough. 850, yun ang papadala natin lahat sa Pilipinas. Pagdating dito, nangungutang ka ng pang-metro. Pagdating dito, hindi ka kumakain. Is that wise?
No.
Ang mga anak ng Diyos mayayaman.
Amen.
But we are abusing, we are wasting our money. And that is not pleasing before the Lord. Walang Kristiyano na nangungutang kasi tayo anak ng Panginoon. So, you are spending 850 mamaya. Matatanggap natin yung 850.
Mamaya.
Padala natin lahat yan because they need sa Pilipinas. Actually po, na-experience ko na yan. Nung naka-bedridden po ang nanay ko, 20,000. Ang target ko per month,